Hello, my name is Michaela Bauer, and this is my screencast for Activity 5, Distributive System and Consensus. In this project, we implemented leader and worker in a distributive system. The leader, in this case, acts as like a server, where each worker that is shown in this is treated like a client. Through the leader, you send out the tasks, the workers receive the tasks, they wait for a response and then send the response back to the leader, who then collects it and determines if there was a consensus reached in the answers. This is the project files. This is the leader file here. Up at the top, there's lots of methods in here. The leader is responsible, this file is responsible for accepting workers, sending tasks, collecting responses, and deciding consensus. And you can see that it is broken down here. This is the start method. We've got, there's some safety built into this. It waits for at least 3 workers to start before it goes on. If it doesn't receive them, it shuts down. You have a way of like adding removing workers, returning the amount of workers you have. This is the responses that it's getting from the workers. This starts around, it takes out the task, sends this message to the workers. I'll break that down, and I have it broken down in the README. This system then the leader waits a full 15 seconds for the workers to respond. This is in here specifically to help type in the answer, because there's a lot of windows open, and it is a little bit hard and tricky to get all the responses from just one person. So that's a little bit built in here for me, but also it prevents the system from getting stuck waiting for responses forever. You can see the workers that you've got. It prints the responses that it received from the workers. This is the determining if there's a consensus reached. So you can see down here, if it detects a tie, it says that there was no consensus reached. So tie means no consensus. If there is a consensus, you have it. It shows out the responses. It shows the total, who answered it, all that good stuff. And then it sends that message to the workers as well. So that's the leader. Over here we have the worker. Sorry, I'm at the bottom for all of these. The worker is connected to the leader. It receives the tasks, waits for the user to enter manually an answer, and then it sends that answer back to the leader. So this is the opening message that it sends to the leader when it turns on. If the leader disconnects, the worker shuts down. This is the task, the results. Not too much in here, just a lot of pretty basic stuff. Worker handler has definitely more of the heavy lifting in here. This is the thread used by the leader to handle each connected worker. And so you can see here, you've got all these kinds of good stuff in here. Reads in the messages, reads the results, and it also closes the sockets as well, which is nice. And you see that's in the finally block down here, which makes sure that it gets closed. I think that was, like I said, I do have the README down here as well, which goes into, these are all of the messages that you have. It has the message type, who it was sent by, and the description of that message. And so it's kind of broken down here so that you can see all of the different kinds of messages that are sent throughout the system, how to run it, the order of the events, some built in, like what happens if a worker fails, what happens if there's a tie, some edge cases, some issues. So that's the README. And then I guess we will go ahead and run over to the terminals now. All right, so I have a couple of them already ready to go, just because it would make this a little bit faster. So I'm going to go ahead in this bottom one down here. This is going to be our leader, and we're going to start that here. And then you should get a message that's saying it's waiting for at least 3 workers to connect. So then I'll go here and I'll start connecting these workers. Like I said, it's a little bit hard with this many windows and just one person. Alrighty, please excuse me while this all connects. Just takes a second. So you can see we now have 5 workers working. You can see that I can type in task down here. Let's see. So I'm going to type in 1 plus 2. Those are going to all get sent to the workers. I've got 15 seconds to type in the answers here. Sorry, so I'll show you when. All right, there we go. Got all the answers. You can see down here in the leader box, you are seeing the, sorry, let me go back up here. Yeah, you can see that you are getting the results from the workers. So you can see that worker 1 typed in 3, and then it captures all of their responses, and you can see it here. And then also prints it out a little bit nicer that you can see what each one voted for. Vote distribution, only one person voted for 2. You can see that has 1 vote, and that 3 voted for 4 voted for 3, which you can see is this as well. A consensus was reached. The consensus is 3, and 4 out of the 5 workers agreed. And then you can see back over here, on here it says it's sending that consensus announcements. You can look over here on all the workers, and they got the consensus reached, final result 3, details 4 out of 5 workers agreed. So you can see here that they can receive a consensus. Let's see, if I send in another one, so again, I'll just type in the same prompt. If there is no consensus reached, so if all of them, whatever response, but if none of them, if they all choose something different, you can see that no consensus will be reached. Again, you get it, the vote distribution is posted here. No consensus reached, tie detected, because they all voted. There was 1 vote for all of them. And again, when a tie is detected, it says that there is no consensus. And then over on here, you can see no consensus reached, and the details was the tie was detected. 1 had 1, 2 had 1, 2 had 1, 3 had 1, 4 had 1, and 5 has 1. So let me see. I have a couple of notes here. Let's see. Sorry, excuse me while I check over my notes. Okay, so let's jump back into the... kind of already went over the code. Maybe I should have done this in a little bit different order. But so you can see that over here in the leader, when I send the task, which is the 1 plus 2, which is up in here, you can see that it is printing out the task and then sending the tasks to all the workers. Those then get sent to the workers. And then the system then waits for the 15 seconds, which again is this right here. You can see then in the worker, they are receiving the new task. You can see it right here. It says new task received. Enter the results. It's then going to wait for the manual entry of the answer. You then get the result from the worker, which is then sent to, sent result to leader. You can see that it sends that way. Let's see. And then these are all being handled, like I said, by the work handler, which is our thread. You can see extends thread, which is why we can have all 5 of these instances going at the same time. All right. Sorry, I am just making sure. Like I said, I talked about it a little bit in the README. There's a couple of edge cases and limitations. Like I said, at least 3 workers have to be connected. The leader has to wait the full 15 seconds. You could take that part out, but like I said, I left it in there because it was a little bit easier for me to make sure that I get all the answers in. And then if no responses are received, you also get no census reached. I'm sorry, there's a million of these things down here. Okay, this is the leader. So if I do my 1 plus 2, just make it easy on myself, I'm going to wait those full 15 seconds. If I never respond on these, I don't know why I'm doing it this way. I can just minimize it. I'm so sorry. If I just minimize this, you can see that they're waiting. It's going to wait the full 15 seconds for a response. Sorry, 15 seconds is a lot longer than you think it is. No consensus reached because no responses were received. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. Making sure. Oh, you can also see we can lose one of these workers. So if I close this worker right here, it is done. It has been turned off here. We have lost, I think this is worker 5. Yep. you can see that worker 5 disconnected, number of connected workers is 4, and these are all my connected workers. And you can see that it still keeps running. Again, I can close another one, and then I can close another one, and then once I do this, on this side, you can see that if I close the leader, that's weird. That normally would have stopped the program and normally kicks these guys out. Interesting. I don't know why that happened. That's weird. I'll put that in the README. Normally, it was working when I had only 3. This is the first time I've run 5. But the 3 would just push the other ones off and say that they were disconnected. So I'll have to go in and make sure that that is something that is mentioned and maybe look at the code. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this demo.